What if I told you someone mapped Antarctica centuries before it was officially discovered? No satellites, no airplanes, not even a telescope, and yet a detailed coastline drawn long before humanity set foot there. This isn't science fiction. This is a real artifact. The Piri Reis Map, a 500-year-old document that has baffled historians, cartographers, and conspiracy theorists for decades. Discovered in 1929, tucked away in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, this map was created by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis in 1513. At first glance, it looks like an impressive chart of the known world for its time, coastlines of South America, Africa, and the Atlantic. But then you notice something strange. The lower part of the map appears to depict Antarctica, and not just modern Antarctica covered in ice, but a coastline free of ice resembling how the continent would have looked thousands of years ago. How is that possible? Did ancient civilizations have advanced knowledge of geography we can't explain? Or is this all just a misunderstood coincidence, a mistake in the cartography of the day? Some believe the Piri Reis Map is evidence of a lost global knowledge, fragments passed down from ancient navigators, maybe even from Atlantis. Others say it's nothing more than a medieval mashup of old charts copied by mistake. But here's the question that haunts historians. How did Piri Reis draw what he drew when no one in his time should have known it existed? Today on Voxorium, we dive into this map that shouldn't exist, the forgotten puzzle piece of world history, or the biggest cartographic misunderstanding of all time. To understand the mystery of the Piri Reis Map, we first need to understand the man behind it. Piri Reis wasn't just a cartographer. He was an admiral in the Ottoman Empire, a seasoned sailor who spent decades navigating the Mediterranean and beyond. His full name was Muhyiddin Piri ibn Haji Mehmed, but history remembers him simply as Piri Reis, or Captain Piri. He compiled his famous map in 1513, during the height of Ottoman naval exploration. But here's where it gets strange. According to Piri Reis's own notes, he didn't draw the map from personal observation. Instead, he used about 20 different source maps, some of them hundreds, possibly thousands of years old. Among these, he mentions charts from Columbus, Portuguese navigators, and, most mysteriously, ancient maps from before the flood. That's not a metaphor. In his notes, Piri claims some of his sources came from civilizations that existed long before recorded history. Think about that for a moment. A 16th century Ottoman admiral openly writing that he copied parts of his map from lost charts created by unknown cultures. Could this be bravado? A way to make his work sound more impressive? Maybe. But if it's true, it suggests that some knowledge survived through centuries, passed down in secret, like whispers through time. These source maps have never been found. They are mentioned in historical records but remain missing, adding fuel to the fire of mystery. Did Piri Reis have access to a library of forgotten documents? Some speculate he might have used materials from the ruins of the Library of Alexandria, or perhaps ancient Greek or Phoenician charts that somehow escaped destruction. Whatever his sources were, they allowed him to chart coastlines in remarkable detail, especially in parts of the world no one in Europe or the Ottoman Empire had fully explored by 1513. And that's where the controversy begins. The most controversial part of the Piri Reis Map is what appears at the bottom, the depiction of a large southern landmass. At first glance, it looks like a rough sketch of South America, stretching too far south. But several scholars, including Professor Charles Hapgood in the 20th century, argued that the coastline resembles Antarctica without its ice. Here's why that's strange. Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, over 300 years after Piri Reis drew his map. And the detailed contours visible on his chart don't match the icy shoreline we know today. Instead, they seem to match the subglacial topography of Antarctica revealed only in the 20th century through seismic surveys and satellite imaging. In other words, it shows what Antarctica would look like if the ice was gone. Could Piri Reis have guessed this by accident? Or did he somehow gain access to ancient knowledge passed down from a civilization that lived before the last ice age, when Antarctica was ice-free? That idea might sound like science fiction, but supporters of the theory point to real geological data. The last time parts of Antarctica were likely free of ice was at least 6,000 to 12,000 years ago. Mainstream historians reject this interpretation, suggesting the southern coastlines on the map could represent Patagonia or a distorted version of South America based on faulty copies of early Portuguese charts. But critics argue that the fit is too close, especially around the Queen Maud Land section of Antarctica. The symmetry, the coastal features, it all raises questions. How could a 16th century admiral chart something that modern cartographers only confirmed centuries later? Is it coincidence? Misinterpretation? Or is it evidence of a lost map tradition? A lineage of knowledge that somehow slipped through the cracks of history? Piri Reis Map has fueled countless theories, not just among historians, but among alternative researchers, theorists, and even pseudo-historians who believe it's proof of a lost advanced civilization. Some point directly to Atlantis, imagining a forgotten culture that mapped the globe thousands of years before our textbooks say it was possible. Could survivors of such a civilization have passed their knowledge down through secret schools, mystery cults, or ancient libraries that were later destroyed? Supporters of this theory link the map to other mysterious artifacts: the Antikythera mechanism, ancient megalithic sites, and stories of pre-flood civilizations found in Sumerian texts and Plato's writings. They suggest a global culture existed long before recorded history, leaving behind fragments of knowledge scattered through time. According to this view, Piri Reis wasn't a genius cartographer inventing new techniques. He was simply the last person to copy maps that had survived since the Ice Age. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this is all just a case of overinterpretation. They believe the southern landmass on the map is a distorted version of South America, or a creative guess at what might exist beyond the known world. After all, medieval maps often included imaginary places, sea monsters, mythical islands, and speculative coastlines. But the problem is, the Piri Reis map doesn't look like fantasy. Its coastal details are too precise in some areas to dismiss as random. And then there's the Admiral's own writing. He explicitly claimed he compiled his map from ancient source charts, some of which he said were hundreds of years old when he found them. Did he exaggerate? Maybe. But what if he was telling the truth? If so, then the Piri Reis map is not just a historical curiosity. It's a potential relic of a forgotten age of exploration, hidden beneath layers of war, empire, and rewritten history. Today, experts continue to debate the Piri Reis map. Some modern cartographers have tried to debunk the Antarctica theory by pointing out flaws in projection, scale, and interpretation. They argue that early explorers often stretched coastlines or combined rumors with reality, creating distorted images of lands they had never seen. Maybe Piri Reis simply copied these errors without realizing it. But even skeptics admit parts of his map are remarkably accurate, especially the coasts of South America and Africa. That's strange for the time, considering that many European maps in the early 1500s were riddled with mistakes. The truth is, we may never know exactly what Piri Reis saw or where he got his information. His map raises questions that go beyond geography. What other documents have been lost to history? What libraries burned before we could preserve their knowledge? And are there other maps hidden away in forgotten vaults that tell a story far older than we dare to imagine? In the end, the Piri Reis map may not prove Atlantis existed or that ancient civilizations had satellite-level technology, but it does prove one thing for certain. History is incomplete. We like to think we have all the answers, that progress is linear and neat. But sometimes an old piece of parchment reminds us that the past is filled with gaps, mysteries, and hints of stories that don't quite fit into the official timeline. Whether the Piri Reis map is a puzzle piece from an ancient world or just a misunderstood artifact, it forces us to confront the limits of what we know. And maybe that's the real mystery. What if the greatest secrets of our planet are not buried underground, but are hiding in plain sight, on crumbling maps, in forgotten manuscripts, quietly waiting for someone to ask the right questions.